You know, with the possibility that as of today, Florida Governor DeSantis basically announcing his nomination to be president, to run for president in 2024. Everybody, I'm pretty sure, even though they haven't brought it up and everything just yet, a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, are kind of on the fence about it. Because we all know that right now, DeSantis in a situation, with Disney, themselves, that basically he's got the whole world talking. And it's not just because of the Ready Creek deal, whatever it's called, that they're fighting over. No, no. It's mainly because of the "Don't Say Gay" situation. You see, in case you don't know, he's Governor DeSantis had a bill passed that basically, it basically tells a lot of companies, corporations, if you will, not to say gay. Basically, basically not, promote or associate or celebrate LGBTQ. And this obviously has upset a lot of people because it's like you can't do that. It's like, look, it's basically their way of saying, look, you may not agree with how people live, you may not agree with you know how they represent themselves, but it's their choice. And if a company or a brand or whatever wants to help basically celebrate that with them or show their support, then they should have the rights to do so. But DeSantis, he's not that way. And obviously, he is a very religious person. I'm assuming of the Christian Catholic faith, or one of them, that he does not want to have, you know, LGBTQ representation in his state. So you have to imagine that with him, basically saying that he's going to be running for president now, you got to just think about the ramifications that come from it. Should he become president? Not saying he would, because he could be one of those nominees that drops out before we even get to the nomination of who represents the Republican Party against who is nominated to represent the Democratic Party. You know, he could drop out before then. We won't have nothing to worry about. But, there's always that what if factor. And that what if factor is, very prominent when it comes to people like DeSantis. Like, imagine if he becomes President DeSantis, and one of the first things he wants to accomplish, starting his reign as president in 2025, is to expand his Don't Say Gay bill from a statewide bill to a national one. Imagine the repercussions that could face. Imagine the repercussions that could face. The controversy and everything. Because if a bill like that was to get passed on a national level, if he was to become president, then there is no doubt in anybody's mind that people, when it comes to the next presidential election, which would be around 2028, there's no doubt in people's minds that they'll basically try to vote him out. Basically send a message of, hey, you're just going to be a one-term president and that's it. And that might be what happens. We don't know. But again, this is all what if. Because, again, like I said, DeSantis could drop out and we won't have nothing to worry about. But if he was to win, though, he'd be one of those governors or state leaders or whatever that would want to basically take what he's passed from a local, if not state perspective, in a bill and try to, bring it national and pass it that way as well, to where now it's not just one state being affected, it's the entire country. And can you imagine that what if situation if that was to happen? Can you imagine a lot of events that focus on supporting and celebrating LGBTQ, especially during Pride Month and everything? Can you imagine how they will react if all of a sudden they are told from a legal standpoint that they can't do these things anymore because it's not right in the president's eyes and everything? Can you imagine how the reaction to that, knowing that perhaps this year and next year could be the last time they do these events for at least a couple of years until the 2028 election. Can you imagine, how they would react to all this? I mean, to me, even though I'm straight and a born again Christian, to me, it's something that would be game changing. It would be game changing because basically now you would have the LGBTQ community rising up and even stronger than ever, people supporting them stronger than ever against the likes of DeSantis, because it's like you're basically taking away people's freedom of expression. You're taking away the freedom of speech, you know, and you're not supposed to do that. I mean, that is why the Don't Say Gay bill is so controversial right now in Florida, because essentially it's DeSantis' way of taking away freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and they don't like that. They really don't. So to me, the what if possibility is, not it's not so far fetched when you think about it, because you can't tell me that someone like DeSantis is not looking at the fact that, hey, I got this bill passed in my state. If I become president, I can get it passed on a national level. You can't tell me he's not thinking about that, nor is he thinking about any other possible bill that he's had passed, or at least try to pass, that he'll try now to get passed nationally if he gets elected. You can't tell me he isn't thinking about that. He is. He is. And is he going to have his supporters for all this? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, he's going to have his supporters. Every state he goes to, there's going to be supporters that believe what he's saying, that believe and agree with what he's saying. I can guarantee you, my mom, and I say it with all due respect and love for my mom, she'll be somebody that'll be like, well, if I can't have Trump become president or this person become president who I believe in, then I'm going to go with, DeSantis because of his beliefs. She'll do that. She will do that. So, so he's going to have his supporters, no doubt. But again, it's all dependent on how far he's going to, go with this run. Is he going to try to go all the way? Is he going to try to hope to get, elected, as the Republican nominee against the Democratic nominee? Will he be able to do what he's hoping? And the other nominees out there, Republican, Democrat, grass party, grassroots, if you will, independent, is he going to, be able to accomplish what they all want to accomplish? And that's become the new president. And by doing so, be able to try to push their agenda, their beliefs, onto the country, as well as onto the House and Senate to get those bills and beliefs passed. Will he be, will he be able to make that happen? We'll have to see. But again, you can't tell me that right now he isn't not just thinking about the possibilities of what could be, but obviously he's thinking well beyond that. Now, true, he's got to put the state that he's governing over right now first and foremost. Whether people agree with his decisions or they don't. But the thing is, it's just one of those situations to where, you could look at this what if scenario with the other nominees that are out there, from the various other parties that I mentioned, and you can also wonder whether or not they'll try to do the same thing, to where they'll be like, well, if I become president or Madam President, what bills can I pass that I want to see passed, that I've been wanting to get passed? What can I do to push them through? Because again, like I said, DeSantis, if he gets that opportunity, he's going to try to basically push those beliefs, push those bills, those laws into reality that he's got going in Florida, into reality across the country. And he's going to have the Senate and the House help him out. Now, are there those in the Senate and the House that agree with him? Oh, absolutely. Are those there in the House and Senate that don't? Absolutely. And that's going to be interesting too. Like, which side is going to win out, when it's all said and done, if DeSantis gets, elected in. It's totally like, it's totally one of those, it's totally one of those situations to where it's like, you don't know exactly what the outcome will be, when it all is said and done. Like I said, he may drop off, he may drop out, not drop off, but he may drop out, way before we even get into the nomination phase for what Republican will represent the Republican Party, if you know what I mean. He may drop off or drop out way before that, and and the only people that have to worry about having him around for any time longer would be the state of Florida, and that's it. But we have to just wait and see what happens. But yeah, this is an interesting time if you're someone that either is against or supports Santos, whether you live in Florida or you don't, because if he goes all the way, and accomplishes what he wants to accomplish, what any of the nominees want to accomplish, or basically the same goal that all the nominees want to accomplish, if he's able to do that, then I can guarantee you he'll be one of those leaders, as I mentioned, that's going to take his agenda, his beliefs, the bills he's passed in his state, and he's going to try to have all that upgraded to a national level. He is. And like I said, if you're someone of the LGBT community or supports it, or even helps organize events to show your support for it and everything, or you're an organization across the country, that has no problem, welcoming the LGBTQ community, if DeSantis gets what he wants, then you guys, and I'm saying this all due respect, all right? Because I have a member in my family that's, I think, the daughter of my cousin in San Jose. I have a member of my family that's part of the community, LGBTQ. But, I think. But anyway, like I said, if this was to happen, and again, this is all what if. This is all speculation. All theorized speculation, guys. Because again, like I said, it may not happen at all. But for any nominee that's out there, you kind of want to think about what the ramifications would be should they become elected, right? You want to think about the ramifications. And again, if you're part of the LGBTQ pride community, or you support it, or you're an organization or event that supports it or celebrates it, DeSantis gets what he wants, becomes president, you guys are going to have a long battle ahead of you. I mean, you may have to shut down certain events and all that. You may have to, basically forbid LGBTQ people from coming in because of what's going on. And if it's not of your own hand, it could be of DeSantis' own hand by having or trying to get these bills that he has going on in Florida upgraded from state to national level. But again, it's all what if. It's all what if. Let's remind ourselves, it's all what if. Because again, it may not happen. It's just something to really speculate and think about. And if it happens, well, like I said, Florida's going to be in for quite the fight. Not Florida, but Florida is in for quite the fight right now, I should say. Anyway, but like I said, the country, I should say, almost got a little tongue tied there. The country will be in for quite the fight as well, especially for those that represent the LGBTQ and pride community. They will be in for quite the fight. There is no doubt, in my opinion. Because again, if you have an organization, or if you are an organization, you're an event that celebrates LGBTQ, get ready, because you're going to be probably having to fight for its existence. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here and talk about the possibilities of what DeSantis could bring to the table now that he's, announced his nomination for president. What do you think? I'm sorry if I rambled a bit, but until next time, guys, talk to y'all later.